You may be seated. Break not the circle, make it wider still, till it includes, embraces all the living. With these words, we sing the circle wider at each of our new member Sundays a couple of times each year. It is indeed something to celebrate, the expanding embrace of personality and background and opinion within these walls, the rich diversity of perspective and experience that makes First Unitarian of Toronto a place where so many find welcome and a sense of belonging. Here together we hold a wide spectrum of theological outlooks and opinion on many subjects. So here in community, you are likely to find others whose viewpoints are compatible with yours, people with whom you feel in alignment. At the same time, here together in community, you're likely to find people with differing views from your own. In fact, chances are, if you're here with us a while, you'll come face to face with the one person in our congregation who has precisely the opposite view to your own. It's amazing how this happens. Depending on your theological point of view, the wisdom of your inner teacher, the grace of God, the miracle of synchronicity, or just plain dumb luck, will make sure that sooner or later you meet the person here who's the best at pushing your buttons. And it might even be one of your ministers. You never know. We try hard, but you never know. Yes, here at First Unitarian, our Sunday morning services offer enough variety that every person is virtually guaranteed to find something they dislike. We have hymns, for example, for people who don't like singing. And within those hymns, we have words that people who do like singing don't like to sing. We have sermons, which occasionally can seem, well, preachy. And don't get me started on candles, stoles, and robes. Outside of our worship services, we offer many things to do that are not everyone's cup of tea. We encourage people to volunteer in ways that they enjoy and feel well suited to, but even when we volunteer to do something we love, there will come a day when it seems inconvenient, boring, or just not worth the trouble. As Sean said in a funny story that he told a few weeks ago about a minister who doesn't want to get out of bed on Sunday morning, there are times when even those of us who love church, I say that with quotation marks, church the most, don't want to come to this place, whatever it may be called. So, what are we doing here together? When I think about the purpose of religious community, I'm reminded of some advice given to me about marriage. And I think that the advice applies to any meaningful relationship. The advice is first to see the differences between you as gifts. And the second is to take responsibility for your own happiness. This advice might sound simple, and it may seem easy to do when things are going well, but when things are difficult, well, we know it is not easy at all. When we join any group, perhaps a religious community especially, we may seek a place where our differences are not apparent and where some key to happiness may seem to be offered. But eventually, we may be, let's face it, horrified to discover, after being in relationship for a while, that the people with whom we are together are both like us and unlike us. And the leaders can't offer any simple answers. As we continue to be present to each other over time, both here and in rooms much like these, we may discover that the most important and sometimes difficult thing we must do is simply accompany each other on the lifelong journey of growth, which is ultimately a solitary journey, even as it is also shared. We are each responsible for our own growth, and in relationship with companions of many kinds, be they family, friends, fellow congregants, or for some a higher power, we deepen and grow as individuals who become ever more capable of love. I don't believe that all people need to be joiners or extroverted and sociable, or to be in formal partnerships with others in order to have a meaningful and fulfilling life. But for many of us, at least at particular points in our journey, living intentionally in some form of community can give us exactly what we need for growth. This growth, needless to say, may at times involve discomfort and stretching. Yet through that stretching, we may move into a new ease, a more relaxed way with life as it is, that allows us to become more loving and present to others. The author Wayne Muller paraphrases a well-known Christian text in a way that I find meaningfully inclusive. Whenever two or more are gathered, something is born in the soil of our having joined in each other's open-hearted company. He writes, "Perhaps the greatest wealth you possess, the most precious, valuable gift you can ever hope to offer, the most valuable gift you can ever hope to offer any human being, is this simple, one true thing: you. Your presence, showing up, being in the company of another, undistracted, unhurried, with an open heart, gentle hands, and a patient soul, willing and able to listen, to do something or to do nothing, willing to be surprised by whatever emerges in the soil of sharing your present, loving company with another human being." I'd like to thank all of you for your presence here today, and all of our new members for their willingness to be present with us through all the days that led to today and all the days to come. Just a second, I seem to have misplaced something. Oh, right, I left it. I think I left it here. Sorry. Yeah, I left it in my handy First Unitarian Congregation of Toronto tote bag. You know, these are fabulous. Aren't these great?
Yeah.
What, you don't have? I feel really embarrassed you guys don't have a tote bag. Well, we've got to do something about this. Let's see, how can we arrange to have them get a tote bag? Karen and Susan, could we figure out a way to do this? As people are leaving the service today, could we give them a tote bag on their way out? Oh, that's important, but we have to figure out who really deserves a tote bag, okay? All right, so let's just figure out who should get one this morning. Okay, well, I got one. Who's on the Board of Trustees? Do we have any people? Just raise your hands if you're on the Board of Trustees this morning. We do have a few. Okay, so you'll definitely get some tote bags. Who's on? Who are any conveners here this morning? Got a few. Yeah, maybe you don't want a few. Yes, raising your hand. Thank you. That's great. Are there members of the choir here this morning? Please raise your hand. any service leaders with us this morning? Yes, there are. Any musicians? Any musicians? We do have musicians. Thank you. Wonderful. Let's see. Ushers, anyone? Do we have ushers with us? Great, thanks, excellent. So you'll get your tote bag then. Greeters? Great, wonderful. Glad to know this. What about the greeting card ministry? People from the greeting card ministry here this morning? This is good to know. I'm glad to see this. Has anyone ever done coffee duty? A lot. This is great. Have you worked in the bookstore? Have you volunteered in the bookstore or the library? We have some of those as well. Has anyone volunteered this year, or for that matter, any time, to set up the sanctuary and make it look beautiful, to set up our altar table this morning? Yeah, we have Hope, she's done this, and Lynn Atkin-Phillips has done that a lot too. Now, has anyone served on the real estate task force? I think we need to order an extra long tote bag for you, really. Can you raise your hand if you have served on any committee of any kind this year? Have you participated in any kind of group? Yes. And is there anyone here who has sat next to someone and offered a friendly greeting on a Sunday morning? Is there anyone here who has been a friend to someone, offered a listening ear or a helping hand? And finally, is there anyone here with us for the first time who has offered the gift of their presence to us this morning? Welcome. And thank you. And anyone who has assisted in any way with our lifespan religious education, please raise your enthusiastic hands. Also, lay pastors, pastoral care team, and anyone I've forgotten. Sound. Joe Muller, Joe, and everyone in the sound booth. Anyone who assisted in making our services available online, even the people on the other end who got the computers working. Thank you. All right. On behalf of Reverend Sean Newton and everyone at First Unitarian, I thank you all for your service, your care for this community, and above all, your presence here among us. Please enjoy the gift of this tote bag, which will be joyfully given to you by volunteers at the end of the service. Stay after service for special refreshments in Workman Hall and/or the art reception taking place after the service, or the newcomer information session in my office. To our volunteers, our new members, and all of you, we offer our sincere gratitude.